LUAN Emotional Podcast, conversations for inspiration on the go. We offer on-the-go inspiration because our whole heart is set on beauty and our best bets are set on art. Hi Liz, how are you? Welcome to LUAN Emotional Podcast.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for the invite. I'm so excited.
This beautiful woman that I have in front of me, she's amazing. She has set the intention really early in her life that everything that she does is with the intention of reconnecting people with our own souls, so that we all remember who we really are and the limitless power that we all have. She does it through different practices and tools like meditation, spiritual ceremonies, workshops, courses, and talks, and to help raise the level of consciousness in humanity. She also works as a strategic coach for different wellness businesses, focusing her work on helping shift the paradigm at work back to the self, back into becoming, seeing kind of like that shift of being not self-centered, but, putting the importance on the self, because that's where magic starts happening, right? And she's a co-founder of Wholeness Co. and Universe Podcast. Amazing, Liz. I love your bio and I love the information about you. And I can't, wait to start with this question. How can we remember who we really are? How can we be aligned with our mission or with our passion in life?
Well, that's a really important question. Thanks for asking that. That's a question actually that I keep asking to myself every day, because what I think is that sometimes in life we forget about who we really are because of all of these programs and all of the things that society tell us that we should be or that we should follow, or everything that our family was used to do, or, the educational system that we were born into or whatever. But sometimes we just forget our own essence. So my first tip here would be go back to what you really love to do, right? So I keep asking myself every day, what do I love to do? What gives me peace? Where am I the most fulfilled? Where do I feel the most happy, the most passionate about, because sometimes as we grow, we transform ourselves too, right? And sometimes we keep changing what also we want, but the essence is back there. But if you combine your essence with the evolution and the transformation in the path that you're going through, then you have like magic. You create magic because at the same time you are evolving with your own essence and following the path that your heart tells you to follow. So to answer your question in a summary, I would say go back to yourself, ask yourself, what do I really love to do? Where am I the most happiest person in the world? Where do I feel the most expanded? And then there you go. Just follow your hunch, follow your heart, and then keep the paths that are opening to you there.
Mm-hmm. And what happens, for example, when we get really confused and we sometimes kind of like mix the needs and wants of other people and we adopt as the needs and wants of ourselves. And sometimes we might think that, something that we think brings us happiness, sometimes actually brings happiness to a family member, or sometimes brings happiness to the culture we were raised or to our brothers and sisters. How can we clarify?
That's a really good question too. What I would say again is keep asking yourself, keep questioning yourself. Where does this come from? Is this really from me? Is this really my heart talking? Or is this something I learned and that someone else wants for me? Sometimes the expectations that we have inside of us is the expectation of another one that, you should do this and you are so good at this. For example, you will be the most amazing doctor or artist in the world. You are so good at this, and you're like, okay, yes, maybe I'm good, and you do it but because your mom or dad or brother, whatever, whoever, told you that this is something that you should work on, you know? And sometimes it's just a really fine line where we sometimes say, oh yes, that's my path, you know? And then if we pause for a second and we reflect every time, if you get confused, because the confusion is an emotion that you can feel. And if you hear that, and if you stop and you make a pause and then you say, okay, I'm confused. Where does this confusion comes from? Is this really something that I want, or is this something that I thought I wanted, right? So if you go to the root cause that created that confusion, you know, so go back to where that emotion or that doubt is coming from, then you are okay. Then you can realize if it's really you talking or if it's really you guiding you. And if it's not, then it's another one. And every time, like most of the time, the confusion comes from it's not yours. It's something that is in confrontation for to say a word with your own self, right? So every time you follow your path, every time you follow your heart and your own guidance, then there's no space for confusion. Maybe there's fear, yes, because sometimes, and that's important to say, because sometimes being me, allowing myself to be who we really are, is scary. Because again, because the society and all these programs told us what we should do or how we should look like or what we should do for work, whatever, no? So sometimes to get rid of all those programs or tags that we've created for ourselves create sometimes fear. But if you transcend it, then you'll just allow peace and allow new paths and opportunities for you to be who you really are.
Totally. And something that I would add on is, once that you identified if it's coming from you or if it's coming from someone else, I think we have to decide in this world, right? If we are faithful to ourselves, sometimes we tend to be unfaithful to people around us, right? If we're faithful to everybody else, then most of the time it will be unfaithful to us. And we need to choose what's more important, to be faithful to us or faithful to maybe our parents, right? Because maybe our parents could expect something about us and that's what made them happy, right? But not necessarily what makes us happy. And it requires a lot of courage to stand out, right? To step up and, you know, kind of like in the sense of like coming out of the closet, right? With your own identity, right? Whatever that is, whatever the career you're choosing, whatever, you know, the lifestyle that you want to have, whatever gender you want to have, right? And being able to step out because you are in true connection with yourself, right?
Yeah. In that point, I would say that every time you're faithful to you are faithful to others, because at one point there is no others, right? We are one. So there's an illusion here that I have to prioritize others' needs or others' things that they want for me. But that's not true. The priority is you, and being and realizing your priority. Then from there, you are faithful to you and you're faithful to the rest, to everyone, because you came to be you. The universe doesn't make any mistakes, right? You have your talents, your gifts, your uniqueness. And every time you embrace that, the whole self that you are, then you're giving the whole world the opportunity to grow, to evolve. And that includes your father, your mother, your grandparents, your partner, whoever, no? So being faithful to you is being faithful to everyone, I would say.
But for example, what happens if maybe there's a person that comes out from a family that, I don't know, it's expected of this person to become a lawyer and this person actually wants to become an artist? and the parents don't let him, and it's like, no, you can't be an artist. It's important for you to be a lawyer because you've been in many generations of lawyers in your family, and because it's a fantastic way to earn your living, or whatever excuse they can give. What can you say to that person?
I would say stop listening to others and listen to you first. Go back to your heart and follow your dreams. There's nothing that can stop you for being who you really came to be if you allow yourself and have the courage to transcend all these talks from other people. Actually, I have a lot of people that ask me those kind of questions in healing sessions, or I actually do a workshop to find out your purpose in life. And I would ask yourself like 4 questions that really helped me, for example, as well, to change my life into this healing path or consciousness path. So one would be, what is the thing that you most love to do, right, in life? Then there's an answer, because then you can follow your own beliefs and what makes you happy. There's nothing, I mean, if you try to be a lawyer, then you would never be fulfilled, because that's nothing that is compared to what you really love to do, right? So that's one question. So then the other thing is, what are you good at? What are you really good at? Because if you follow the path of being a lawyer, then, well, maybe you're good with communication or with negotiation skills or whatever, but what you are really good at is your most powerful gift, right? So being an artist, maybe if you compare it with the lawyer skills, then you will be like, I can create all this amazing art, and I just the time just flows when I'm there, so that's a good answer to follow, right? So if you're there, then check.
Yes.
And then
what makes you come alive, right? What is it that,
yes, what makes you come alive? When do you feel that time flows and you're just letting yourself be? That's something to guide you, because if you're pretending that you are a lawyer, well, go there, try it, but then you'll be tired, you'll be like confused. There's a lot of questions that you'll never be fulfilled, because you can't be fulfilled when you're not yourself, right? So then another question is, what do you think the world needs? Because I really believe that we were created with a unique gift, with a talent, because the universe is amazingly perfect in its divine orchestra, right? So you have a gift that answers to a need in the whole creation. So if you ignore that, then there's something that is going to be like, hey, listen to me, I'm here, until you hear it, right? So you can follow the path of being a lawyer, but then you'll feel like a little, I don't know, a little door.
Knocking on your door.
You're knocking on your door. Like,
continue talking, right?
Continue talking, yeah. Keep pretending, and then you go back and say, okay, this is me, But there's a relation between what you think the world needs and what you can give. Because then there's a correlation between your contribution to the world, and then there's an answer of why am I alive? Why did I come here? Then there's a purpose that you can guide your life into, so that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then, that would be 3 questions that I would tell them to ask themselves, right? And then from there, I would say, just try, why have we been programmed that there are some things that we can't do, or that there are dreams that are really big to manifest, that's I mean, that's nonsense. Why is it different in the success level to be a lawyer versus an artist? Why? Who said that? If you're really good at it, if you expand and let yourself surrender to what you really came to be, then you'll be the most amazing artist, you know? So there's no comparison. There's just the program that we create over what is better or worse. Mm-hmm. Who said what's better or worse? Society or books or whatever in the past thoughts we were educated with, you know? But everything and every type of work has its own meaning and its own uniqueness and its own greatness, I would say, right? And if you allow yourself to be great, to be a genius in whatever your soul and heart is calling you to be, because that's yourself guiding you to emanate your energy to the world and manifest what you really are, then that's greatness to me. And and the lawyer is the there are, of course, I don't want lawyers, if there's some lawyers that here listen to this, that they feel, oh no, my work is not great. No, yes, it is. You know, if your heart told you that you can be the best lawyer and there was the need that you wanted to contribute to the world to, that's perfect. You can be the best lawyer and that's your path, you know, but just make sure that it's your own calling and that you're answering to yourself and not because my parents or my background told me to.
Totally. I also think it's important to, like, many people ask, like, how do I know if I'm aligned with my passion? And I think that if you're questioning it, it's because maybe you're not completely aligned, because when you are, you know, right?
Exactly. Yes, there's no doubt.
Sure. And sometimes it might take some time to get there because, you know, also life is not kind of like in a straight line, right?
No.
And at the end, it's about kind of like connecting the dots, and everything that you start doing in your career or where you are or with your family or, you know, with your partner. I think that it also kind of like ends up connecting, and there's specific people or specific jobs, specific, you know, parts of your life that you need to live. So that can take you to
totally
to your passion. And sometimes you can be like, I know that right now what I'm doing or with the person that I'm with, for example, now I know that it's not kind of like aligned with my passion, but I know that it's a specific step and an important step to take me there. So kind of like what can you tell about having that patience? Because sometimes we want, you know, things to
everything. I know that's really important, and that's funny too. Yeah, sometimes we just want things to come and manifest right now, right here, and with no growth, right? But at the same time, I would say, for me, the vision that life is beautiful and so perfectly aligned is really helpful. Okay, if we understand that our past is helping us to evolve, to transform ourselves, to learn, we then look back and realize that every step that we took, that every person that we've met, that every work that we've worked on is contributing to rediscover myself, to remember who I really am, mm-hmm. and to get me to where I will be the most amazingly perfect version of myself. Mm-hmm. Then I just thank every instant, every obstacle, every challenge, every fall that I took. Obviously, I thank the good things as well. But then I just keep, I will say that just keep thinking about how this contributed to me, what did I learn from this person or from this work? And keep asking, if I learned this, now who am I now? You know, what do I remember for me? And then it's just like we always say, it's like life is like an onion, you know. You keep taking out bales and different parts of you that actually are like I would say like covers.
Yeah, like layers.
Layers, exactly, like layers that it's not you, you know, it's tags, programs, whatever. But then you keep going. Imagine that you're walking a path that is life, and then you keep going, and then, okay, this is not me. Oh, I remember this. Okay, I learned this from this person. Oh, I learned this from this work. And then you keep going back to you. That's the purest essence, you know. That's the you that is not overwhelmed, or that's the you that is just love.
Yeah.
And that is just you. Yeah. So I think that's a good way to see it. Just my past contributes to my future. And then I give it like a reason to be. Mm-hmm. And then and one thing that I would say, don't fall into drama as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's, I hate this that happened, and I really hated this work. How could I be there like 10 years? You know, it's just don't be there. Don't act like a victim. Just thank it. Give it a blessing and a reason to be. Mm-hmm. And then just transcend and go back to your path and keep walking to who you really are.
Of course, connected with yourself, no? And what, for example, tips can you give, or what tips do you use, for example, in your practice for people to connect to their essence? What have you seen that are kind of like the most efficient?
Well, I always say, remember what you really love to do as a kid, mm-hmm. And do that, you know. So sometimes it helps that you ask your mother or your father or your brothers and sisters if you are a little one, mm-hmm. because sometimes we just forget. So, hey, what do you remember I did when I was a kid? Maybe they say just, you kept talking about this, or you kept playing with football, or you loved nature. So then when you have the answer, go back and do it again. Yeah. Play. Keep the magic alive, mm-hmm. because there's where your purest version is, you know. Mm-hmm. And kids are just amazingly powerful and magical to me. And if we remember when we were that person, mm-hmm. then it's just like a click, you know, that it's like cling, and then something inside you turns on. And then the magic starts to happen. I would say that's a magical tip, and it's so easy
to implement, of course. And something that, you know, we like to do here in LUAN is to kind of like change the interpretation, right, that we are doing with emotions, because, you know, sometimes we know that we tend to classify, you know, negative emotions and, you know, positive emotions, mm-hmm. but, you know, they're just, you know, emotions. Either they feel comfortable or uncomfortable. They're not good or bad emotions. But I think that emotions work extremely well as being a compass, and being a compass for us as guidings, as, you know, kind of like these, kind of like angel guides, you know, communicating mm-hmm. with you and telling you what not to do, what to do more of, and kind of like, you know, arising for you to learn either a teaching, a lesson, right? So emotions are there to show us what are our passions, what are the things that we love, what are the mm-hmm. things that we want to stay away from, what are the things that are bothering us. And emotions are there to like question you, like, oh my God, I'm feeling anger for this person, or I'm feeling, you know, sadness about this situation. Why is it? What do I need to go in and like work on, right? So what can you tell us of the work that you've done with all the people that you've worked around the world about using, you know, emotions as your compass, as your guides?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I always say that to stop and to listen to your emotions there, and forget about classifying what's a good emotion or what's a bad emotion, negative or positive. It's just an emotion. And if we listen to them and give them a voice, then we understand why it's there, right? Emotions, as you said, are a compass, a guide to us to know how our energy and soul is doing, right? So whenever I feel something, either it's courage or either it's weakness or fear or love, it's there because of a reason. So if I reject, for example, the negative emotions, like the ones that we're programmed to think they're bad, it won't go out, right? It will be knocking on your door inside of you, and it won't stop until you listen and give them a voice. Okay, so every time you feel something, without attack or a judge, listen to it. Let your body feel it, because your body is like our antenna as well, and it's like our messenger, it's our temple. And if we allow to feel whatever we're feeling, then we can close our eyes, we can meditate, you can do journaling, whatever it works for you, because there are a lot of tools. But you give them a voice, and then you allow them to be a voice within you to say, okay, why did this came? Why am I feeling this? Is this love? Is this peace? If this fear? Okay, I listen to them, and then I act after it, right? So sometimes if it's fear, then you either have two things to do. You paralyze, and you keep with that fear, or you transcend it and you say, okay, what's the opposite of fear? It's courage, it's wisdom, is my will. I will do this, maybe with fear, but I'll do it, right? And then I transcend that fear, and then I won't have that fear anymore, but I understood it, right? I gave it a voice. And then again, if it's love, why am I feeling it? What is this person making me feel? If it's love, well, am I falling in love? Or, it's fine. And then you give it a voice. Hey, I like you. I love you. Who taught us that we couldn't say I love you to someone? That's another thing. Sometimes we're just programmed to don't say I love you to anyone until you're sure to express what you feel. What? I learned something really powerful from a teacher once, that he said, never limit the power of your love because of someone confusing themselves or of why are you expressing your love, Never limit the power of your love. And it's so important, because maybe you loving the other is loving yourself, and it's loving the whole world. So it's just with either it's A or B, there's a reason you're feeling it. So express whatever you're feeling.
And love does not run away, in the sense of like love multiplies itself, right? And that happens a lot, like with families that not recently have kids, like when the second baby comes, the first kid, your first child is kind of like, no, there's not going to be enough love for me, because I now need to share the love of my mother. Kind of like if it was contained in a vessel, and it was like, this is all the love of a mother has, right? So if there's 3 or there's 4, then it needs to be divided in 2, 3, or 4 people, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't work that way, because love is completely endless.
Exactly.
It just expands and expands. So if you have, 1 kid, 2 kids, if you love your work, if you love your partner, if you love your nature, if you love yourself, right? Eventually it's an emotion that it multiplies, that it expands, that is completely, it has this ability to transform space and time, right?
Yeah.
Because when we die, right? as we all know, and these kind of like mystic experiences of people that have kind of like been dead and come back, no? Kind of like
after death experience, yes.
Yeah, kind of like these near-death experiences. Most of them, they report that they felt this kind of like endless and unconditional love.
Yeah, that's so beautiful to remember, because I think love is behind the essence of everything. And if we remember that love is all there is, and there's nothing else that is not love, then why should we judge a feeling of fear or like, it's just love. Why am I judging a person that is, I think it's my enemy, for example? No, that person is love as well, So if we change our perspective and we elevate everyone to see every person as love and as a creation of the same essence as me, then I can express myself in a huge different way, and I raise my consciousness, and I raise again the consciousness of everyone. And what I also wanted to say as you were talking is that there's a need to express all our emotions, right? So don't hesitate on expressing that fear or hate or negative emotions as well, as I said, because just negative as we are programmed to think about them, because they're not. Because if we express them and we give them a voice, then who knows that tomorrow, if I share that feeling, that helps another one to say, hey, I felt that way too. Oh, okay, that there's a reason. I empathize with your feeling, and then there's a reason to feel that. We couldn't feel love if we didn't feel fear. We couldn't see light if there's no darkness, right? So everything is complementary here in the world, in the universe, in life. So just see through the eyes of neutrality and express whatever you are feeling, and then you'll create a most beautiful art or whatever your creations are, because all of us are creators. Totally. But within all these concept of being the one energy expressing itself by different kinds of expressions that are not bad or good. They just are, and they have a reason to be there.
And we're all emotional beings, right? We all have emotions. A few years ago, before the pandemic started, we did this work in jails, right? We went, to do some, emotional work with the women that were in jails. No? And it was quite interesting because the facilitators, right, us and the women who were in jail, we started doing this emotional work. And at the beginning, it was first about expressing emotions that you had like deep in your core through an exercise. And we realized that we had exactly the same emotions, women that were, from privileged background, that they haven't been, some of them exposed to violence, and women that have, been born in really unprivileged situations, that they've, grew up with a lot of violence, with a lot of, criminals. They have been abused. They have been, like all the, so like really, really traumatized, people. And we shared exactly the same emotions of maybe not feeling accepted, or maybe, feeling fear and paralyzed by fear, or maybe, feeling immense sadness, right? And kind of like this, dark, deep emotions. And I want to ask you, like, with all the work that you do with your patients and your clients, what are the main emotions that they come into you with? And what emotions do they live after they finish like the work with you or the sessions with you? What would be kind of like the 3 top most common emotions?
The 3 top, I would say, not being enough.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. That they don't deserve to be loved, or they don't deserve abundance, or they don't deserve, and they are not loved. They are not. Above
from fear, above from...
Yes, but the deepest thing is it's a lack of love. And it comes from self-love, but it comes as well of I haven't felt loved by my mom, or like where you feel abandoned by your father, for example, if you didn't have him as a present father, so, or if your mom left because whatever, or if someone died when you were little, there are a lot of wounds that are created from our, I would say, first 7 years in life. Mm-hmm. But the most important are those three. Well, there are a lot, but I would say the top three would be them, because we just don't understand who we really are, mm-hmm. and what we really are capable of, and the limitless power that we do have. Mm-hmm. So we start growing and living a life where I see a lack of love in my family, or if I see that the example of my mother that doesn't feel that she deserves whatever. So I learned that as a little kid. So I think that's the normal. Mm-hmm. And I grow up with those things and all these programs. And then guess what? You are 40 years old and you keep with all those programs inside of you. Mm-hmm. So when you realize that you are worthy of everything, that you are enough as you are, that you don't have to pretend to be someone else, or that you don't need to have X or Y to be enough, mm-hmm. and that you are the purest form of love. But you just don't understand it when they come to my therapist or whatever therapy you go to, and you embody this feeling, and you literally let this energy, I would say, to come back to you and remember your essence. Mm-hmm. Then there's like a big, huge aha moment where, oh, fuck, I live with all of this all my life. But yes, I'm loved, and yes, I'm enough. Not because I have X or Y, or because I have money, or because I'm the director or CEO of whatever, mm-hmm. just because you are. And maybe you had to live with fears, or with someone that abandoned you, or that you thought you were abandoned by, or that you felt alone, to remember that you are loved and that you can give love, because that's your pure essence. Yeah. But it's just not something that you understand with your mind, but it's something that you have to embrace with your whole being.
Yeah, you need to change that memory in every cell of your body.
Exactly. Right? In your body, in your emotions, and let your spirit get in. And then it's just like, yes. And then it's just a sudden change. That is just like it's because you're not learning something new. You're remembering the essence of who you really are. Yeah. So it's amazing to me. And as you said, we sometimes think that, oh yeah, the people in jail, or the people that don't have enough money have different emotions as myself. No, we all share the same programs, and the collective, we're more united than we think of sometimes.
Totally. And it's kind of like, if there would be kind of like a glitch in the matrix, right? Because we know we're kind of like limitless beings, right? That we have the ability to create reality, either our reality mm-hmm. that we want, or the planet that we want, right? And at the same time, we live with that kind of like full expansion and full, power of being limitless. And at the same time, one of the most common pains that we have is not feeling worthy. Not even worthy of being limitless, not worthy of, maybe not having a partner, maybe worthy of having the job that we want, worthy of not mm-hmm. having, worthy of whatever we want to put in. But it's kind of like completely contradictive.
Completely. Yes. But we remember, so just ask why, who said that? Where did I learn this? It's crap. What? And just play. I would say just play and try to think of the other side as a possibility, because there are a lot of possibilities in the universe, Mm-hmm. So remember that where you give where your attention goes, the energy grows, right? So if you keep your mind focused on I'm not worthy, well, stay there, but just play for a second and try to embrace the worthiness. Yeah. What would it take if I'm worthy of this? And how can I be worth of having whatever, you know? And then you keep asking questions and you let new possibilities in. You don't need to answer. You just open questions to the universe and the possibility, and you take out your attention from these other self-talk or, you know, like all these programs, limiting programs that we have created. And, you know, it's part of the evolution as well. We all have been there and we are sometimes back there, and it's normal. The trick is, and the key is to transcend them and to be conscious and aware of whenever I'm feeling this, go back to what I really want to feel, right? And you have that ability.
Totally. And I've seen your work, right? I've been, you know, through these, you know, sessions with you, and I wanted to ask you if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Having a few minutes here with the people who are listening to us and guide kind of like a special message or, you know, a short, you know, 3-minute, 4-minute meditation about kind of like changing this feeling of not feeling worthy to becoming completely worthy.
Yeah, of course. Perfect. I love that. Okay. So if everyone listening can close their eyes, please, and put your body in a comfortable position. Take your shoulders back so your heart is open. And inspire, breathe in. And exhale, breathe out. Once again, breathe in. Breathe out. And the third time, breathe in. Relax your whole body and breathe out. And then I want you to visualize a golden light within your heart. And imagine this light pumping and beating with the rhythm of your heart. And every time your heart beats, this light is shared through all your veins, through your blood, and it goes to all your cells and to all the different parts of your body. And then you realize that your whole body is filled with sparkles of light, of this golden light. And then I want you to expand all this light and imagine there are stars exploding and expanding from yourself, from your heart to all the space that holds you. Feel your room or wherever you are with all the stars coming out of your heart. And imagine that you listen to the heart, to the song of your heart, to the song of your own essence. Imagine that you remember who you really are. And as if the universe is singing through your heart, then you connect all these stars with a purpose. You connect all these stars that surround you with your past and with your future. You connect all these stars with your present being. You allow all these stars that come out from your heart to illuminate everything that you've been through in your past. All the moments that have been difficult to you. All the emotions that you rejected. All the confusion, doubt. You just let them shine. Because there's a reason behind them. Because everything that you've been through is love in disguise. because every person that you've encountered in your path is love in disguise. And then from there, I want you to remember all the love that you can feel right now inside of your heart. Remember the most lovable experiences that you've had. Remember the most beautiful people that you've been with in your life. Put inside of you the people that you love, your parents, your son, your daughter, your grandparents, and yourself. And from there, just ask yourself a question. If I'm loved, why wouldn't I be worth of having love or experiencing love? If love is all there is, I allow myself to be who I came to be. I understand that everything I've been through has been love teaching me something and helping me grow. And I embrace the love that I am, to understand that I am enough, I am worth, and I am. And I put my hands over my heart physically. I put both my hands over my heart, and I let all these intentions integrate within me, feeling my own hands taking care and containing my heart, and letting all this light shine right now inside of me. And I put a smile in my face, and I repeat in silence, I am loved, I am worthy, I am enough. I am loved, I am worthy, I am enough. I am loved, I am worthy, and I am enough. And I inhale, inspire, and exhale, liberating, taking down my hands, and I start coming back here and now to feel my body. I stretch my body. I do thoughtful movements with my head, with my shoulders. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to this moment here and now.
Beautiful. Kind of like a new format.
Yes.
But the idea was not to only talk about, the theory, but also kind of like experiencing it with the practice. And I think
of course, that's really important, because there is nothing that could help if you just have it here. Then you have to practice it and walk your talk, right?
Not only in the mind, it's in every cell of your body, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you for guiding us through this self-love and self-worth exercise and meditation. It was really profound. And thanks so much for sharing your magic. And before we close, I want to ask you a few questions. The idea is for you to answer in a short, one word or a short answer. Anything that's perfect.
Okay.
What is art for you?
Art is a creation of love.
Your favorite author?
Oh, that's a good one. God.
Nice. An advice that changed your life.
You are everything that is, and there's nothing else that it is not.
The best quality in humans.
Love.
A book that you recommend.
The Surrender Experiment.
What feeds your soul?
I would say love, but not again. I would say laugh.
Laughter.
Laughter, yeah. Like, yeah, enjoy everything and laugh, yeah. Happiness.
The most pressing issue for humanity.
The illusion of separation.
If humans can agree on this, you will be very happy.
We are one.
What would you like to scream to the whole world?
Yeah, let's be love. We're one.
And the last one, what is it that you have lived and that no one could miss experiencing it?
Well, my last trips to Egypt.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well,
what happened?
Well, we were like in the last one, like almost 12,000 people with the same intention together with the same intention of bringing back the love and consciousness to the whole planet and the whole humanity to remember who we really are together. So in a nutshell, right? Because there was a lot of things happening, but that to me is, wow, there's a lot of people around the world with the same intention. We really are vibrating in higher frequencies, and that to me is the best feeling. Totally. And that gives me a lot of hope.
We're craving for a better world.
Yes, we can actually do it. Have it.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Well, thank you so much, Liz. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, everyone.
Magic, your talents, your meditation, it was wonderful. And thank you so much for your time.
And of course, thank you, and have a wonderful day, week, and let me know if you have any questions after this. I'm happy to help.
Want to keep the conversation going? LUAN, the world's first emotional museum, designed a global online experience to inspire and explore. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Telegram, and visit our site at luanmuseum.com to engage creatively.